Let's not forget one thing. Toppers are not made in the classroom. They are made by the system they follow after the classroom. So in the classroom, all 35 students are taught in the same way by the same teacher. But the results vary. Why? The question arises, why? It's not because one child is dumb or the other one is very smart. It's only because the toppers follow a different system of learning, which I'm going to disclose to you all today. I hope you are ready with your pen and notebook. Keep noting down, and I can assure you, you will surely reach your destination soon. So the first milestone that we set before we start studying. So when you plan, you have to get 95% marks in your final exam or in any of your competitive exams. You just don't start sitting and sit and start studying. You plan first. So rule number 1 is planning. Now don't run away with the word planning. Everybody does the planning, but it fails. So we have to make 2 types of planning. Micro plan. First is our macro plan, and then is our micro plan. So macro plan is to get 95% marks that we all want. That's why you are here. For that, what we have to do? If we have 8 months, you might have 9 months, somebody might have 10 months, whatever time period you have before your final destination you have to reach, that is become 95% marks holder. So in 8 months period, let's take 8 months for your final exam. So you have 8 months in time and you want to get 95% marks in maths. That's your destination. Now for that, what do we do? In 8 months you should complete the syllabus. 5 mock tests. That's your macro goal. In 8 months time, this should be done. In micro plan, we'll do 2 types of planning. One will be monthly planning. In monthly, see, if you are planning to complete 12 chapters in 8 months, that doesn't mean that you're going to complete all 12 chapters in exact 8 months. You will surely want to complete it in 6 months, so that in case of any emergency you have a buffer time left for you. So when we are planning, we have to keep some buffer time also for us. So monthly plan, we take 2 chapters in 1 month. I am considering you have 12 chapters in your final syllabus. So you take 2 chapters monthly. Then weekly, how much it means? It means weekly, in 2 weeks you are doing 1 chapter. In 2 weeks you are doing 1 chapter. So you have nearly 14 days with you. So in 14 days you are doing 1 chapter. This is your plan. Now which chapter to choose, we'll come on that later. But this is your planning, a wide plan for all subjects you can make like this. I'll be talking more about maths here. You can use this method for all subjects and follow this roadmap. So by doing this, we achieve our first milestone. Moving on to the second milestone. The second milestone says build the moment. So here we come to the topic where you were thinking which chapter to start with. So we start from easy chapter and move to the more difficult one. So why easy? Some children argue that we will do the difficult chapter first so that we can get a hold of the subject. No beta, you don't have to do this. Do the easy chapter first. Doing easy will give you small wins, and these small wins will help you get bigger win. So it will set you in momentum. You'll feel confident in the subject. You'll feel I have done 3 chapters. My major part, some 30% part is done. that will give you more confidence. So we start with the easy and move towards the more difficult one. Suppose you are in class 10, you start with quadratic equations because you've done it in class 8th and 9th, and then you move towards trigonometric identities or trigonometric applications or surface area volume case study questions. So you take a momentum from easy to the difficult one. Here we reach our destination 2. Rule 3 says never leave a chapter behind. What does that mean? Suppose in month 1 you did quadratics, then you did probability. Month 2 you take real numbers and linear equations. This is just an example. You can take other chapters also as per your need. Now here you must have solved a worksheet which consists of both these chapters. That's for sure. And here you will solve a worksheet that contains both these chapters, chapter 1, 2 and chapter 3, 4. But this is not enough. If you have to follow rule 3 of never leave a chapter behind, means here you have to do one worksheet which will have chapter 1, 2, 3 and 4. This is like working on a brain to tell it that chapter 1 and 2 were equally important and we have to remember it. We cannot afford to forget it. So the more we keep reminding our brain after certain interval, it converts into a permanent memory and we don't forget it. So the last minute you will not get any surprises of not knowing what you have learned in the first month. So similarly in the third month the last thing of the month will be you'll be revising the 6 chapters. So you have to keep one day specially for revising the previous concept. The planning, again we go back to the planning part where we keep one day in a week, in 2 weeks for revising all that we have done in the last few months or few weeks likewise. Here we reach our third destination. So the first one we did our planning, second one we set the momentum, third we know what to do with the previous chapters. Before moving on to the fourth one, let me tell you the fifth one is the rule that nobody will ever tell you to do. But that's the rule, that's the game changer. Rule number 4 says build your own personal revision system. What is this personal revision system? See, when you are studying, there will be few questions you find it difficult. You might ask for help from your tuition teacher or your school teacher. There will be few questions where you could solve them, but with lot of cutting and lot of retrying it. There will be few questions. How many times you solve, you are getting stuck only. So we have to give them a color code while solving, while doing the work, the class work in our notebooks. I'll tell you how to do the color coding. This color coding I have been using for my students. If it works for you, you can copy it in your notebooks. So you mark the red color for questions you need help. Suppose some questions you need help. You have solved them, but you needed help, you mark them red. For the blue color, for the questions you solved but found them difficult. Solved with difficulty. But you could solve it without taking outside help. That means you could struggle and get to the answer. So you mark it as blue. They are not too difficult, but yes, need a revision before the exam. Then the green ones. Few questions are there that you want to revise just before the exam. which are maybe PYQs, or your teacher has marked very, very important questions. Very, very important questions or PYQs, which you can't. PYQs means previous year questions, so which you cannot afford to miss just before the exam. Then moving on to the last color code. Last is the yellow one, which marks the important theorems, formulas. So there are few theorems which come again and again, like BPT theorem in class 10th. It comes repeatedly. So mark it with a yellow highlighter. So this is done while you are doing the first revision of the chapter. You are doing the chapter for the first time. You've done it. Now when you have your school exams, you are revising for the chapter. At that time, you will come back to this. You will see the color code and accordingly prepare yourself in the last minute before the exams. Before we start with the 5th milestone, let's put a tick to the 4th milestone. Now we are only one milestone away to reach our destination. You are going to be the next topper. What is rule number 5 that makes the topper different from the regular students? You might think that they are smarter, they are more hardworking, they are less distracted. No, children. All of you are same. I am again saying they do the things differently. They are not born different. They do it differently. It is not the classroom studies that makes the topper. It is something that you do after the classes that makes it you topper. So rule number 5 says, build a mistake notebook. What is this? Mistake notebook? See children, here I don't mean you focus on your mistakes. No, I am asking you to focus on why the mistake. So toppers don't do fewer mistakes. They repeat fewer mistakes. Do you understand this? See, doing a mistake is not a problem, but not learning and repeating the same mistake is thoroughly a problem. So, in this rule, we write down the question, we write its solution, and we write why this mistake. Why means, suppose you are copying the question again and again. So, you just write there, copied wrong. Okay. Or you are doing multiplication wrong. Write multiplication wrong. Concept not clear. Write it there. Once you have this mistake notebook, it is very, very important while you are preparing. You should work on your mistakes and not repeat it again. Suppose in chapter 1, while doing your revision, you have done 2 mistakes and you have written it down. And you are confident that you are not going to repeat it again in your next month test. You have got a small win. And when you reach after 8 months, you have worked on your mistakes, you have completed the chapters, you have your formula cheat book ready, you have your important questions marked in your textbook. You are thoroughly prepared for the final destination. So today you have learned 5 rules not to study more, but to study better. If you follow these rules consistently over the next 8 months or 9 months, your preparation will look completely different. So in the next video, I am going to tell you how to train your brain to retain better, reflect better, and stay focused. So till then, stay tuned. Bye bye.